and I fucking flip over the fucking bike handlebars, like land on my thing, hit the fuck out of my head, and I'm like, fuck, I just crashed this fucking bike, bruh. Hey, what is up, y'all boys? It is Ride with G back with another video. Coming at you with the video today of how I came to own my Sunset Metallic M340. It's actually a crazy story, so I'm gonna strap the GoPro on my head and get y'all a POV and just kind of drive and tell y'all the story of how I came to own this car. It's a pretty crazy one, so stick around. Since y'all seen the car last, as y'all can see, finally got some tips on it with the diffuser again. It just looks so much better, bro. I'm so glad. It looks so like naked without those tips, bro. Alright, what's up, y'all boys? We in the car now. They been warmed up. But take y'all back like probably 2 years ago. I had a Genesis Coupe and it was a fun little car. It was a 6-speed manual, 3.8, custom tuned. It was making like 330 to the wheels almost, and it was a fun car, whatever. But that car ended up losing oil pressure on me. I noticed there was an oil light blinking on the dash. Googled into it. Ended up that car had failing oil pressure. Like it was about to go, it was about to spin a rod bearing or do some shit like that, some bullshit. And I had owned the car for 6 years, and it was really sentimental to me. Like it was my first like real car I had, and it was the car I learned how to drive manual in. It was quick. Like it was a 6-speed manual LSD. It was a fun car. Like I really liked it, so I was sentimental to it. I had a cash offer from Carvana for like 13,000, bruh. Turned it down because I'm like, I want to pull the motor out and rebuild it. I sent it to a machine shop. They pull the motor out, tear it down, and they're like, the walls are scarred to this block, so we have to bore it out and get new pistons for it. And I'm like, okay. Like I figured it was some damage in there because, you know, just how it was running, it was losing oil pressure. They tear it down, bore the shit out, and they were like, you know what, nobody makes pistons for the 3.8 Genesis. And the Genesis has now been out like 14 years or something, or at this point it's been out like 12, whatever. But it's an older car, so finding engines, finding parts, finding aftermarket pistons for a platform that no one really even, I wouldn't say fucks with, but it's a smaller niche community. So they're like, we can't find pistons for it. So now I have fucking Lego blocks at this machine shop. They're like, we can't find pistons for it. There's like one company who makes them in Las Vegas, whatever, and it was like $3 grand for pistons and all the rods and every part I needed. And then the shop was iffy on if they even wanted to do it now because they weren't sourcing the parts. Whatever. So it was a whole ordeal. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna just get a motor for it and whatever. The car being, you know, not too many made, whatever, there wasn't a lot of motors. I spent $5 grand on a motor for the car, spent like $2 grand on labor, and then I got it back finally after literally like a year because I had one motor come in on a skid and it fell over on the truck, cracked the valve cover, cracked the pulley, whatever. I had to send it back, get another one. It was a whole fucking ordeal, but finally got that car back running. And then I kind of had PTSD from it. Like I was like, this car already fucked up on me and the parts are hard to find. I'm gonna get out of it while I can, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna sell it. So I sell the car. My original offer from Carvana was like 13, and then I think I sold it for like 11, and I put $5 grand in it and $2 grand in labor. So it was a dumb, stupid decision, just being sentimental, like, oh, I love this car, I want to whatever. I should have cashed the fuck out and let a dealership put a new motor in it, whatever. But you live and you learn. After that, I was driving Civics and Miatas for a year, having low payments, low insurance, whatever, just chilling, you know, enjoying shit boxes, not having monthly expenses. And I was already looking at cars. I didn't know what I wanted next. You know, I was looking at a lot of things. But then I stumbled upon the B58 platform, and I seen the Supras, obviously, because I feel like that's how everyone really, or not everyone, obviously the Beamer guys knew that the B58 had been produced since 2016, and it was like, you know, already showing signs to be a great motor. But I just knew the Supras, and I seen the Supras running like fucking 8-second passes, and they said, oh, they can take 600-800 to a stock block, and they're bulletproof. And I was like, damn, like Supras are like 60 bands. I'm not spending 60 bands on a car. And so I started looking at like 340s, 440s. Like I realized like you could get the B58 in something that wasn't a Supra. But yeah, I had been looking at B58s, and that's really what I wanted. I wanted a 440i M Sport. Really, that's what I wanted, the coupe. And while I was driving Civics and Miatas, I was just looking, stacking my money and just looking for them. And like probably a year passes by, and I'm just still just chilling, stacking my money, looking at B58 cars, looking at 440s. But I'm not in a rush. Save my money. Why not have, you know, a little leeway when you go buy a new car, whatever. So I own this EG hatch, which was really cool. It had a B18 block, B16 heads, B16 head, and what's it called? It had pistons, rods. It was set up. It was a built motor Civic. It was fun as fuck. It probably weighed 2,000 pounds or less, bro. It was real nice, and I liked the car. But for some reason in my head, I'm like, I want a motorcycle. I feel like every young dude thinks that in his life, and you gonna experience and get out of it okay, or you gonna fucking die. No, not for real. You may get fucked up. But I was like, I want a motorcycle. So I'm looking for motorcycles. I'm like, who wants to trade and my built EG hatch for a bike? I want a bike. I'm like, oh, I want a bike. I can just ride it to work and save money, save even more money. But I ended up finding somebody to trade my EG hatch for the 2017 CBR 300. It had like 4K miles. It was black. It was mint, and it was cool. I had it for like I don't know how long, maybe a couple months. But I had it, and I was riding it to work. Oh, let me preface this saying I didn't grow up riding bikes. I rode a few dirt bikes, ATVs, whatever, but I didn't grow up like for real riding bikes. I was a fucking rider, goddamn. So I had it, and I didn't even have a fucking bike license, bro. But I was just riding around my neighborhood for like a few days, just like learning how to lean it and like do the shit. And it's a beginner bike. It's a 300. Like I didn't think I was gonna like kill myself. So like what's it called? I had just rode it around the neighborhood for a couple of days, learned how to like downshift, upshift, how much throttle to give it, how to lean it, how to whatever. And it was cool. And then I got on the road. I rode it to work, rode it back and forth to work. I was like feeling good. Like I was on the bike. I was like leaning and shit. And it was fun as fuck. And then, you know, when you get good at something, whether it's driving fast cars or driving fast bikes, you take it to the extreme. So I was getting good at riding this bike. I was really like leaning and putting my leg out. Like I thought I was a real fucking rider, bro. And it was one day I was riding to work, and I fucking was riding to work, same route I always take, whatever. And there's this stoplight, and then in front of it is like probably 500 feet stretch, and then you go around this little curve, and it's like a nice curve, like it just curves around, and it's fun to drive. And so like we're at the stoplight, I'm ready to go. I'm like, yo, I'm finna like rev up the gas a little bit, let out the clutch a little bit faster, and like hit this turn, like go, and then hit the turn, bruh. And I'm like, all right. So I go, I'm like, oh yeah. And then I'm leaning, I go and I lean this turn. I'm leaning this turn, and as I'm doing it, there's somebody in my left lane, and I like peek my head, and I see they're on my phone, and they're like going in my lane like this. Like I'm in the right lane, obviously, but they're like going in my lane, like, and I'm going around this curve. They're in my lane. I'm going faster than I should be because I'm more confident on the bike. But at that moment where they're coming in my lane, and then I'm leaning the curve, and I'm still like, it had only been like 2 months, so I'm not a pro riding. I just kind of panicked because someone's coming my lane. I'm close to the shoulder. whatever. So I'm whatever, and instead of just like easing off the throttle, applying some brake, just slowing down and like letting them just go, and then recorrecting the bike and like balancing it and whatever, I just kind of like sketched myself out like, oh my god, like I'm gonna die, like whatever. So the bike had like kind of like wobbled, like the handlebars had wobbled, and then I like applied the brake bad, and it was just like a whole situation. I was fucking like, damn, I'm a fall, bro. Like, and I'm probably going 60 miles an hour around this fucking turn. I try to slow down a little bit with the front brake, whatever. I should have probably used the rear brake more than I did. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna crash. So like I lean it to the right and I go over this fucking curve, luckily into grass, bruh, and I fucking flip over the fucking bike handlebars, like land on my thing, hit the fuck out of my head, and I'm like, fuck, I just crashed this fucking bike, bruh. And what's it called, I crashed the bike. Obviously like 10 people behind me stop and they're like, are you okay, are you all good, like whatever. And I'm like, get up like dazed, and I'm like fix myself up. I'm like, damn, am I good? Like I feel my shoulders, feel my knees, whatever. I'm scratched the fuck up. I had shorts on, like my legs are scratched the fuck up. I'm bleeding obviously, but like nothing feels broken, and I'm like, I'm good. Like, so I get up and I'm literally fine, just crash going like probably 50 miles an hour, and the handlebars all bent, the plastics are broken, my turn signals are all fucking hanging off the back. Like the bike is pretty fucked up, and the handlebars bent at like a 90-degree angle. I fucking don't have a rider's license, don't have insurance on this bike. I'm like, a cop cannot come fucking see me, pull up on me, get like a report, what happened, whatever, you have your license, what? Hell no. I picked this fucking bike up, started up, it's like, and it starts up, and I dead ass tell you, bruh, after crashing this bike, I rode it all the way the fuck home with a bent handlebar like this. I'm bleeding out my knees, bleeding out my leg, whatever. I'm like hurt, like goddamn. But you know, when you crash or something happens to you, your adrenaline's so high that you almost don't even feel it. So I ride the bike home. I tell my family, I'm like, yo, I crashed the bike, whatever. And my mom had already said, don't get a fucking bike. She like begged me, don't get a bike, don't get a bike. And I'm like, bro, it's fine, I'm gonna ride it for a couple months, stack my money, and go get me a fucking cash out on a B58, boy. She told me not to do that shit. I borrow her car, she gives me her car, and I still go to work. I'm like, yo, to call my boss, I'm like, yo, I crashed my motorcycle. I'll be at work in like 30 minutes. And they're like, oh my god, whatever. They're like, you good to come? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I ain't gonna miss no fucking money, boy. We don't never miss no money around here. But I go to work and I clock in, it's cool, whatever. I'm like, fuck, obviously, you know, I put some bandages on my knees, whatever, but I'm cool. Nothing's broken. I'm able to move. My arm's not broken, my leg's not broken, whatever. I'm like, damn, I really walked away from this shit unscathed. And it's probably an hour later that I like feel like my head just don't feel right. Like I feel like dizzy, like out of it. Like I feel like I got fucking sucker punched. And like real deal, I kind of did, bruh, because like, you know, I flipped over the handlebars, smacked my helmet, like it was on my chin, bro. Like my helmet had like a little, not a dent on it, but you could see where it was scraped the fuck up. And like, I'm like, ooh, I just don't feel good. Like I feel dizzy, I feel out of it, like whatever. So I called my manager and I was like, yo, I know I said I could work, but I don't think I can work right now. Like I just do not feel good. She's like, oh, all right, like just like you can clock out, like go get checked out, whatever. So I do that, I clock out, I go to the fucking hospital because my head really, like, I don't feel right to even like for real drive, but I do. I get like a head scan and they check out my like whatever, make sure I'm not like broken and shit, and they end up, head scan comes back, I'm fine. Like they said no bleeding, doesn't look like there's any like trauma, nothing like that. So I'm thankful for that. And they're probably just like, you probably just got fucking blunt trauma, like you hit your head and you feel like you got fucking punched in the face, like, because you did. And I was like, all right. So before I leave the hospital, they're like, you're all good, you need a note for work, whatever. And I'm like, in my head, this idea pops, bruh, and I'm like, yo, if I get some days off work, I can straight go get my B58 car. And I had been eyeing this white 440i M Sport, fully loaded. It was white with red seats, and it was one owner, 19K miles. It was really fucking mint, bruh. It was just a nice ass fucking vehicle, and I wanted it so bad, and it was like an hour away from me. Private seller. I had been talking to the dude because I was like, yo, negotiate with me. But I think we ended up negotiating to like 35K, bruh. And it was a 2020 440 with like, I'm pretty sure like 17K miles. Older dude that owned it, he never even fucking got on it. Like, he just like, yeah, I don't need this car. He said he had like 4 other cars. But yeah, I'm at the hospital, and they're like, you need us to write you a note for work, whatever, say you need to be off tomorrow, maybe to like rest, whatever. And I was like, popped in my head, I'm getting my car, bruh. Like, I'm gonna go get my car. So I tell them, can you write me like 3 days off work? Like, I'm playing it off. I feel so bad. Like, I just feel so bad. Could you write me a few more days off? Like, whatever. I feel like I need to rest. So they're like, yeah, they write me 3 days off. I tell my manager, yo, I gotta be off for 3 days. They said I had a concussion. They said I'm bleeding out. They said I probably might not make it through the night. Like, I'm in intensive care type shit. Like, I'm really playing it up. So I literally am like, okay, I'm off for the next 3 days. I have a good amount of money saved because I've been saving. I ain't been paying shit off. I haven't had a note, whatever. I'm just been stacking my money. And I'm like, message dude on, it was on Auto Trader. And I was like, yo, are you available to sell this car? Like, whatever. I'm gonna go to a credit union tomorrow and get approved for the loan. And then I'ma just, if you can meet up with me, I'll test drive the car. I know B58 solid. I'm gonna see if it's leaking oil, like leaking coolant. If it's good, if it drives fine, I'ma get it. And he was like, yeah, I can meet you, whatever. Next day, I go to the credit union, and they give them all my information, my driver's license, my income, whatever. They send it off to their bank, whatever. And then it comes back, and they're like, review my application, send it out. Obviously, that's how like banks work. And they get it back, and they're like, oh, we can't approve you for that much money because the car was like 35K. But I have the income, and I had the down payment. I was like steady on my job, like making enough money, whatever. But they're like, yeah, since you've never had a private sale loan at all, and you haven't had an auto loan bigger than whatever amount, I think it was like 18,000, whatever, then you can't get this car. You're just not, I guess, trustworthy enough to the banks. So I'm like, there's no way, like, I can put a down payment, I can put 10 down on this shit, like, whatever. Like, what do y'all need me to do? Damn, we in the ghetto. I was like, what do y'all need me to do so like I can get this car? And they're like, we just can't offer, like, you're getting declined because you just don't have enough history to do the shit. I'm like, damn, bro, like, for real, like, I'm real deal pissed, bro. So I walk out of there, nothing they can do, bro. They can't approve me. Like, what else I'm gonna do? Like, so I walk out of there pissed. No car, no motorcycle, no bitches. Like, I'm just mad, bro. Like, I'm fucking mad. And I'm like, fuck, man, I had a whole plan to like get this car and whatever. I didn't even message dude on Auto Trader. I'm like, I fucking forgot about it, because I know I couldn't get it. So I'm on the way home, driving my fucking mama's whip, bruh, on the way home, and I stop at a red light, and I'm always scroll Auto Trader. Even I scroll it now, like I look at G80s, like just one day, nigga, one day, or G82s, and I stop at a red light, I open Auto Trader, and I scroll. And as I said, I had always been looking at 440i's because that's really what I wanted. But for some reason, I stopped at this light, and something just popped in my head, like, look at M340i's. Like, just search them up. And so I did. I searched up M340s, and I seen posted, like, it was like 30 some minutes ago. It was like, it was this car, spoiler alert, it was this car. But it was posted like 30 some minutes ago. It was at a Hyundai dealership in Atlanta, or past Atlanta, Canton, Georgia. And damn, this sun's probably ass for y'all. But it was in Canton, Georgia, and it said like posted literally 30 minutes ago. So I scroll through the pictures. It looks mint, you know, the orange with the bronze accent, 729M wheels, the mocha seats with the blue stitching. Like, it's like, damn, I love this vehicle type shit. And damn, I don't know if I should put this down for y'all. But yeah, it's like, this is everything I wanted. And it was priced $42,900. And I was like, holy shit, like, whatever. Like, just walked out the credit union, not getting approved for my car that I wanted, my 440. And then on the way home, it pops a Sunset Metallic Orange M340. 30 minutes ago posted. So I scrolled through the pictures, checked the Carfax. Damn, I'm going pretty fast. It's a clean car. Carfax is clean. It had one owner that owned it for like 27K miles. And then the second owner owned it for like 6K. But they were both, the second owner was a certified pre-owned, and he put like 6K miles on it and traded it into a Hyundai dealership. But yeah, I'm off for the next 2 days, and I'm like, I'm finna go get this car. So I called the dealership and I was like, yo, y'all still got this 440i M340? I was like, what's the deal with it? And they were like, older guy just traded it in on a Tucson. He said it was too much car, whatever. We don't really know nothing about it. We're a Hyundai dealership, whatever. And I was like, bet. And they're like, would you like to come look at it? And I was like, I'm in Mobile, can y'all hold it for me? So they said they can hold it for me. And I'm like, okay, I'll be there tomorrow. I go and rent. I look on Expedia for rentals, and the only thing I can find is this little ass Frontier pickup truck. And I'm like, call them, or I book it on the app. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it, bro. I go and rent this fucking pickup truck. I take somebody with me, and we drove 6 hours to go get this fucking car, bro. 6 hours to Georgia to go see the BMW. I get there and they had put like a $2,000 markup on it, and then they had put like some service plan from their dealership that whatever, they had put like some bullshit, so it's marked up like $3,500. It's like almost 46K or 47K. And I'm like, oh, I gotta get me out the tunnel. But it's marked up to like almost 47,000. And I'm like, yo, what's the deal? We just talked on the phone and y'all said this, y'all assured me that this car is $42,900. What's the deal? What happened? They're like, well, we had to put this whatever. The real thing is they knew I was driving fucking a long distance to get it, and they think they could like scam me out some money, whatever. And I'm like, no, I just talked to like the service manager or the whatever service manager or whatever. He assured me the price was $42,900. What's the deal? And then they ended up getting the dude. And he had remembered me talking to me, and he was like, oh yeah, we talked to him, like I assured him the price was this, y'all can't do that. So they ended up honoring their deal, which obviously you fucking should, bro. Like dealers always pull some hoe shit like that. But we ended up pulling my credit and running an application and doing all the shit, and we ended up getting my payments right. It took a few times to the bank, like back and forth to the banks, to get my interest and my payment to what I wanted it. Because I knew I walked in there with a I think it was around like a 740 credit score. So like I knew I should get I mean, interest rates are crazy, but I knew I should get a decent rate, maybe 5 to 8%, whatever. And we ended up getting my interest right, and I ended up driving home with the car. But yeah, I drove 6 hours home. This bitch is literally like a spaceship, bro. Like the first probably first month I had this car, I was so scared to drive it. Not scared to drive it because it's not scary to drive, but I was scared of it because it felt so nice. Like it felt like I was in a rental car and not no fucking Nissan Frontier, bro. And so it took me a little bit of time to get used to it. And I didn't even post the car up because I didn't want people to like know like that I had it, because I was like, what if my people see it? Like I said I was out with a motorcycle wreck, I was fucked up, and I drove 6 hours to get a car, which I did. But y'all need to know that till I come back to work. But I had went back to work, and everyone seen my car. I had showed them at that point, like the people I was cool with, and they were like, bro, whatever. And then my manager was like, oh, you were too sick, you were too hurt to come into work, but you went and drove for a car or whatever. And she was like fucking with me, but it was all cool. She liked the car and all that shit like that. But yeah, that's basically the story of how I got my 2020 Sunset Metallic Orange M340i with the fucking mocha seats and the catalyst downpipe and the G80 caps out of hell. But yeah, I think that's gonna be about it for this video. Let me know if y'all enjoy like this style of me just like driving and talking, because I think it's much more, I don't know, fun. For me personally, I would rather somebody drive around and just talk or tell a story or talk about cars than me just sitting in like a room. Like if I was just sitting with the camera like pointing up there and I'm just like reading off my phone, like I'd rather see somebody drive. But let me know what y'all think. I'll give y'all a little sound clip before I go. But yeah, after this I'ma sign out. So y'all please like, subscribe, comment, and yeah. All right, y'all, peace.